Okay, I think I've started recording. Okay, so actually, today we'll be seeing about the data sets. So for creating the data sets, right, there are three main approaches we used to follow. One is via data flows, one is via recipes, another one is by using the direct connection using CSV file. And there is one more approach, like we can integrate the any of the ETL tools like Informatica and Teradata and Informatica Cloud also, and from there we can directly create the data sets. But we don't have access to that, right? So I will tell you the three approaches, like how to see using CSV file. It's very simple. Like we need a CSV file and we need to upload to our environment, and based on that it will be created. Okay, so what we are going to see today is like how to create the data sets using a recipe. Okay, first of all, what is a data set? Okay, data set is the combination of different objects or tables which we are getting from the different sources, right? It can be different source or it can be same source, but our idea is to integrate different objects, create the relationship between them, and transform the data, and based out of it we will create one data set. For example, if we are creating a sales model, right, for sales we'll be having accounts, we'll be having opportunities, we'll be having campaigns, likewise we'll be having users, right? All these four objects can be joined using the relationship, and it can be transformed and aggregated, and finally we can create one particular data set which we can use to create the dashboards or lenses, right? Depends on our requirement. So first of all, we'll see like how to create the data set using recipe. Why I'm telling recipe is the current uh, market trend, like which everyone using recipe. Data flows is also the another way to bring the data, but it will be decommissioned end of this year. Salesforce is going to decommission the data flows, but recipe is the main ETL tool which has been used by which is being referred by Salesforce to continue using recipes henceforth, right? So that is the main objective. Why I'm teaching with the recipes first. Okay, recipes is the important concept now to create any of the transformations or any of the data sets. Okay, so like what recipe can do. First of all, I explained about connect, right? So for example, we have imported some objects here from the SFDC local connection. Okay. So what I need to do is once it has been imported, I need to sync this. Okay. So how to sync this, right? It's already set to incremental sync. Just I need to go here and set run data sync. Okay, and it is asking for whether to run the incremental sync or run the full sync. I haven't run it till now in the any of the environment, so I'm running the full sync. Why I'm running this is, first of all, I need the data here. Just while without running, it will have only the metadata information. Only after run, it can bring the data to here. It can fetch the data from Salesforce database and it can store the data here. Okay, that is why we are syncing it. This process is called as an replication. Okay, so I've run the account. I need to run opportunities. Okay, and I need to run user. Likewise, I need campaign also. Okay, campaign object is not loaded here. I guess, yeah, it is not been loaded. So if it has not been loaded, then we need to go to the input connection and then we need to find out the campaign object from here. Okay, and we need to enable this. So what are the fields we need to enable first? Okay, that is more important. What is the type of, what is the status? What is the start and end date? Expected revenue and budget cost in campaign, actual cost, expected present, active leads in campaign, converted leads in campaign, contacts in campaign, response in opportunity in campaign, running opportunity in campaign. I need a owner ID, created date created by ID, and last modified as not required. Then last activity is required. Okay, these are the columns I need. Even the parent campaign will be also needed. Okay. just saving it. So once I save this, I can see the campaign information has been created here. This is never run. I'm running a full sync. Okay, so all the sync which I have run is completed already. So these are the some data which I have been added to here. We are having 1,000 accounts, and we are having around 706 opportunities, and users there are 28, and likewise campaigns there are 4 records, right? So all these are been synced now. So once it has been synced, this is our first step. Once the replication has been done, uh, we can go to the data flows and recipes and create a recipe from here. Okay, I will tell you a simple way to create a recipe. Okay, some basic way to create a recipe. Okay, these are all some additional features added in this winter release. Okay, when previously it was really difficult, but now there are a lot of features which has been added now to find out the relationship of the object. Okay, first I'm choosing the opportunity, because opportunity is the child object for account. Okay, so first of
Anand,
all,
can you please, yeah, sorry to interrupt, Anand. Can you please also explain again what is a recipe?
yeah, a recipe is a ETL tool, which has been integrated in Salesforce, which can do the extract, transform, and load. And and using the recipes, we can create transformations like if your sources, right? If your sources means like what I'm telling us, you can have data in Azure, or you can have a data in Teradata, or you can even have the data in Oracle, or you can have the data in the CSV file, right? There can be any sources to where you store your data. For example, your company is working on a different regions. Suppose you think about you are working for EMEA, and whether you are using for APAC, or it can be for Japan, or it can be like other countries like Australia or New Zealand, right? Wherever you can have the data. Your companies have branches everywhere, but the sources, right, of in some countries they might use Salesforce as a main source, but in other countries they might use some web application to store the records and retrieve the data. For example, take Dell, right? Dell is selling laptop all over the world, but they will not keep the same options to buy the laptop, right? They might keep the vendor, right? The vendor have a different billing information that can be stored in any of the database. Likewise, if you go to the Dell store and purchase, they might have the direct Dell purchase details, and they might sell it to vendors also, right? They might have use a different platform, and they store the data in different sources. It can be SQL, it can be Oracle or Teradata. Okay, now, but what Dell is requesting is like I need to see all the data from the different sources, and they will provide what are all the sources data is available. So collectively, we need to get all those details, and we need to create a ETL transformation for that. We need to fetch the data from all the sources, right? Something can be Azure, or it can be Snowflake or any other tool. But what we need to do is we need to fetch from different sources, and we need to create a one data set, because sales is right. It's going to give the one point of truth and insights to our business users, right? They might they don't worry. They normally don't worry about different sources, but bringing the data from different sources is challenging, right? So that's why we use recipe here. When we use recipe, we can connect different sources, and if not only different sources, if the data is stored in a different object, suppose in Salesforce is the main source, if it is stored in a different sources, what we need to do is we need to transform the data. We'll be having the raw data, but we need to transform the data according to our requirement, and we need to create the data set, right? For example, it might not have 15 to 20 objects in one particular organization. So based out of it, we need to create a different tables, like different data sets. And it's like, think about the data mart, what it does. For example, if you want to create a dashboards and requirement is based on sales, you will consider only the sales related objects or tables, and from that you will create a data mart. That is like creating the data sets, right? Integrating different objects, and we are creating the relationship between the different objects, transforming it, and we are providing the output as a data set to create any dashboards or reports according to our requirement. This is how it has been used normally, right? Mm. Is it clear now, or do you have any questions again?
Yeah.
Okay, this is why we use recipes. Like I will tell you, I will explain you. I will start up with a simple example, like how to create a simple recipe, right? So to create a recipe, just click on create recipe. Okay, once you click on create recipe, here you can see lot of options, right? Here there is an add input data set. Likewise, here is also the add input data set. Both is going to do the same step. Okay, and here you can see something called upload recipe JSON and download recipe JSON. Okay, I will explain about this when we are processing, but as of now I don't have any JSON to upload to show you the details. Okay, so just click on add dataset or click here. Okay, once you click here, right, you can see all the you can see the data from CRM Analytics, externals, and Salesforce, right? External connected objects and Salesforce object. Everywhere we can see. You can even import the already created data sets here. Okay, so I'm going to use Salesforce object, so I'm just unchecking this. Okay, so what are the objects I am going to look for as opportunities, because I'm going to create a sales related information. Okay, so just clicking on the opportunities, right? It gives me, it normally selects like what are the fields I want. Okay, but the best practice which you wanted to know here is what are the fields you need initially, right? Only select those fields. Okay, don't select all the fields which has been coming up here. Okay, I don't want any history information, I'm just removing it. I don't want installation status, last reference date, has open activity, has overdue task. Okay, fiscal period, fiscal quarter, last status change date. Likewise, as opportunity line item is close description. Okay, this seems to be like we need some of these fields in the future. Okay, so I selected this. Okay, so this is one concept which is called as a related object. Okay, it will give us like which object this particular opportunity has a relationship already. Okay, so when I click here, it will show the relationship. Previously, we don't have this option, but with this winter release, we are having this option. Just by one click, we can connect the opportunity with account. Okay, I need to join it with account, and I need to join it with campaign. Okay, and based on the owner ID, right, who has created the opportunity, based out of this, I need to join it with user also. Okay, so click on join. Okay, so all these, for all these three joins, I would be creating the transformation here. You can see here, first the opportunity is joined with account, but you can see what is the relationship here. Okay, and relationship key also. Okay, mm, initially it is account ID joined with ID from account. Okay, this is the join column which it is using, and what is the prefix is account. Okay, likewise, there is a join one. In join one, what it is doing is again the opportunity column is joined with campaign, and based on the campaign ID, it has been prefixed. Okay, and finally, it's been joined with user and based on the created by ID. As I said, I need to take by created by ID. So I've taken it by created by ID. Okay. So the best practice is like here it has been generated name as join 0, join 1, and join 2. Okay, normally we should not keep these kind of names, because someone who's been going to develop the recipe after us, or who wanted to do an enhancement after us, they will be not knowing why what this join 0, join 1, and join 2 does. Okay, so for this, what we need to do is edit the name and description. Okay, ideally we need to give the specific name, like what this functionality is going to happen. Okay, so now we are going to join opportunity and account. Okay, so we are joining with account. Okay, so in the description you can mention join opportunity with account. Okay, so this will be helpful as a developer, whoever who can work later, right? They might easily know what it is going to happen, right? Join campaign here. Okay, and in the description you can add join opti with account campaign. Okay. And finally, there is a join too. So what it is happening here is we are joining with user again, right? So you can mention join user. Okay. So now it is clear, right? Whenever you see, you'll be able to know what it is going to happen. And what I'm going to do now is just going to generate one output. Okay. My output will be my data set output. Okay. So here, this is an output node. Normally, this output node is used to create the data set. Whatever we are creating the data set here, will be generating it as a data set to us. Okay. So I need that's a sales data set. Okay. So I need to give the API name. The API name should not have any spaces. Okay. If you had any spaces, then it will error out. So you can give this. An app location is private app. Okay. What is private app? Private app only I can see. Okay. So as of now, I'm going to create one app. Okay. App is just like a folder to keep our um, uh, components or metadata inside that. Okay. So here, when you go to the browse, you will have an option to create an app. Okay. Just go here, create app, just say create app and create a blank app. Okay. And just click on continue and you can mention as sales, right? And create. Okay. So what happens is I've created a sales app, right? But here still this does not know whether there is a sales app or not because I just created it, right? It has not been refreshed also. And output sales data set, right? What we are going to do is we are going to output the sales data set. Just clicking on apply. You can see one big advantage of using recipe is it gives us the preview option. Like whenever we join, right, it gives us the preview option. So we can check either our join, whatever we are doing, is giving us result or not, or whether the join which has been done is working fine, right? Either it is pulling some data from A and B table or not. That's the one big advantage of using this preview option, which is not available in the data flow. These are all the current releases from Salesforce. They have enhanced this recipes to make developer friendly, right? So you can just click on save and run now. See what it is going to happen, right? So we haven't provided the recipe name. So we need to give us sales, right? And version description, sales recipe, it's version 1. Okay. So I will tell you where this version will be very impactful, right? And I'm giving my name because I have created this version. Okay. Okay, now it just been saved and in the monitor, you can see accounts is running, campaigns is running and user is running. So these are all the objects which we had already, which we are using in our recipe. First of all, whenever we run the recipe, it will run the replication, it will sync the data first, and then the recipe will be starting. Okay. Once it is run, you can see the jobs in the monitor like wherever it is running, right? All those information will be seen in the whatever jobs we are running, all those jobs will be seen in the monitor. So first of all, what we need to note down is like whether any recipes which we have created, all the connections which are there in the recipes are running or not. If it is not running, then it is ideally mean that it is already synced and it is updated on regular basis. That's why it is not running up. Okay, every time, and it is not mandatory that recipes all the objects should run every time, right? It is just a sync which needs to sync up the values, right? And whatever the entries we have on the object. So this will take some time. When you click on this drop down, it will show like what are the operations which is been happening. Okay, this I said this is the old version of data monitor. Okay, but if you want to monitor, right, you can go here also. This is the new version which has been given by Salesforce. When you click on this job ID, it will give you the full information, like what it is happening, like how much rows how in and how much rows out for the particular transaction, and what is the next transaction which is it is happening, and what is the status of it, and when it has been started, and what is the duration it is taking, and what are the rows in, what is the rows out, and what if there is any rows failure, and what is the current status of the node which has been running. All this information will be shown in the monitor. And suppose if you want to cancel the job, there is an option to cancel when it is running. Okay, now it has been completed. Now when you click on this job monitor, then you will not see anything in the running, but when you click on all, it will say that sales recipe succeeded, right? It means our recipe has been completed successfully and we have created the data set. Okay, either you can click on succeed to find out, or you can click on all and you can find out. And you can use this filter also, like what time it has been started. Either we need to show only the data flow, or either we need to see only the recipe, right? All these filters we can use, because it is not, we are not going to use only one job if we are in project, right? There might be multiple jobs running, but we can play with all these options, right? Whenever we are using it, we can easily play out with this all this option and check whether the recipes has been completed or not. Now data set has been completed, like our recipe has been completed. Now the data set should be created, but where to check the data set? Again, we need to go to Analytics Studio. Okay, we can go to the Analytics Studio and we can see our sales app, and we can see the data set is created or not here, because it won't be created. Why? Because we haven't selected the sales data set, sales as our app. Instead, what we have selected is shared app. Shared app, whenever we are placing anything in the shared app, it will be accessible to all the users who are there in our organization, right? Everyone will have access to it. But normally we'll be not using the shared app. We'll be using a separate app created by us based on the requirement of the projects and based on the design of the project. Everything will be mentioned in the design document. We need to mention all the details, like which app we are going to create our recipes and data sets, and it will be stored on that particular app. Okay, as of now it is in shared app. So how to move it to a sales app, right? There is one option. Just go here and edit. If you click on the edit in the drop down, click on the drop down and click on the edit, you'll be able to see the sales data set and app is shared app. Just click here and change it to sales. Okay, automatically it will move to sales app. Okay, you can see this. It has been, now all these data sets will be moved to sales app. Only thing is you need to refresh it again. Okay, after you have refreshed, right, you'll be able to see the sales data set inside the sales app. So what is app, right? Normally app is like a folders in our Windows system. Okay, all the app level permissions can be given to the app. So first of all, you need to identify what is app, right? App is the folder which can store dashboards, its components, lenses, stories, and datasets. Okay, and it can be shared to required users or groups based on the project details, like whichever based on our project. Suppose if we want to share this particular application to only one particular user, then that is possible. But if you want to share it to the entire group, then that is also possible. Okay, so first we need to identify, like, so which users we need to which users we need to provide this. Okay, so ideally all those details will be captured in the design document. We would already, before starting any story, right, we will already know who are the audience. We need to provide the app permission. Okay, so once data set is created, okay, just click on this data set. It will take you to the new lens. Okay, and it will show us what is the total count of rows, right, by default. Okay, this is the total count of rows we have created this data set, and it shows you like what is the total rows. Okay, so this is how you create a lens. Okay, Otherwise, what you can do is you can click on the lens, and from create, right? What you wanted to do is, first of all, you need to go to the data sets wherever you want to create the lens. Just click on that particular data set. Automatically, a lens will be created, okay, based on the sales data. So what I need here, I'm going to create one simple report, okay. So for that, what are all the options available here to create, right? So here there is a chart mode. There are more n number of charts here, okay. You can see here there is a bars, there is a lines, there is a date and time, there is a gauges, right? And there is a circles and dot, there is a grids, and there is a map, and there is a pipelines, okay. There are uh, more than, I think, 20 plus maps which has been available by default, okay. And based on our data, it will provide us the suggested charts by default, okay, which chart we can use, and based out of it what output we can get. All this information will be provided by using this, okay. And yeah, like we can go through it one by one when we are going to the lenses and dashboard topic. But this is the use of creating the data set, right? So normally we have integrated four different tables, right? We can get, see, you can see the account related values also here, campaign related values, and also user related informations. So it means what we are doing is we are combining all the four objects, and we are creating a single data set to create a dashboards or insight which will be in a presentable manner to the users or the business users or to stakeholders, right? So these are all the uh, methods we need to follow, okay. But today what I have covered is to create a simple recipe, okay. But you will have to, we need to deep dive into recipes, because there are a lot of concepts which have been available inside the recipes, okay. Just now we have done a single one-to-one mapping, but you can see, right, when you click on this opportunities, and there is one arrow mark which will give us the transformation information. If you click here, there is an option for transform, there is an option for filter, there is an option for aggregate, there is an option for discovery predict, there is an option for join, there is an option for up and update. All these things, each and every component that transform, if you click on transform, the single transform has a different unique functionality to it, okay. You can see there are a lot of functions inside this, okay. What are all these functions, like why we are using these functions, right? All these informations are being available here. We need to go through one by one, and we need to deep dive, complete the recipe, and then we need to move on to data flows, right? So the main objective was, like, today you try to understand what it is and how to create a simple recipe, okay, for today's class. Okay, and one more thing which I want to tell is, I told you about JSON, right? Upload and download JSON. Okay, let me download this recipe. Okay, so what happens here? So if you guys know JSON already, like this is a JSON code which has been generated by the system by default for each of our operations. If you see, there is a JSON code which has been available for each recipe, okay. So it means that we can download the JSON, and if we are very good in editing the JSON, we can edit the code here and go here and upload. Instead of creating the transformation ourselves, we can code everything and upload it. Or if you are generating it from any other source, right, outside the like suppose if you are having the production org, but that details are not yet stored in our data in our dev org. So what we can do is, we can copy the download the JSON from production org, and we can upload it in the dev org. But that is not the best practice normally. But I'm just telling you a simple example, like why we use upload and download JSON, right? So it is dependent on that. Okay, and you can see this is, there is a cleanup nodes, okay. If you are doing something like this, right? If you are during development, we don't know, we just develop something and there is lot of lines and you're not able to understand. Instead of moving it one by one, but you can just click it, okay. So it will just clean up the nodes and it will be arranging it according to our understanding, okay. So yeah, this is all about recipes introduction class. So if you have any further questions, you can please let me know. Okay. Is there any question like how to create a recipe?
No, Anand. Today we will start creating these recipes and everything. So if we get any doubts, means we will ask in the tomorrow session.
Okay, anyone else who's having doubt? No, right? So yeah, fine then. I will give you some tasks, like you can work it on your own and you can show me tomorrow. Okay. If anyone else is having any doubt, you can just ping me also, right? Still, anyone else who can put it on chat, that should be also fine. Okay, good. I think it's clear for everyone, right? So we'll see tomorrow. Thank you guys. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, thank you, Anand. Bye.